Let's just put that there. And let's put a turret here. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Centipede Gun is an Autobattler game that originally released on PC back on December 23rd, 2023. But it's now made its console debut on February 12th, 2026 for the PlayStation 4 and 5, as well as the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series consoles. And we were given a key for the PlayStation 5 version for the purposes of this review. In Centipede Gun, you take control of a centipede that can run around the map, that has different abilities and power-ups attached to it that continually attack different enemies. It's really quite a simple game, the kind where it gets mildly addicting playing it, with there being different abilities that can punch or shoot enemies, especially when you add in the various different enhancements you can also equip to your centipede, like the lifesteal, which will make it so all the nearby abilities will heal you when they do damage to enemies. These enhancements make it so the layout of your centipede is very important. In order to use your layout to its best advantage, you want to have your enhancements connected to as many of these attacks as possible, and also having as many enhancements on those attacks as possible as well. This way you can get the most out of them. You can also upgrade both the abilities and enhancements, making them more powerful. And once you have upgraded them enough, they'll get special benefits. Like the poison, when fully upgraded, will make it so enemies inflict the enemies nearby with poison as well, with each ability enhancement having their own upgrade benefits. And for the gameplay, that's basically it. Centipede Gun is a pretty simple game overall. You have your centipede and you defeat waves of enemies. You buy new enhancements and abilities in the shop to attach to your centipede to get stronger for the next round. Rinse and repeat. Oh, and there is a boss battle every 5 rounds that has health you need to take down. The game starts with only 15 waves of enemies overall. Once you completed that, you unlock NG plus 1, which gives 20 waves. Then NG plus 2, which has 25 rounds, and finally NG plus 3, which has 30 rounds. And once you finish that, well, that's it. You've finished the hardest difficulty the game has. There is a shop where you can buy different starting abilities for your centipede, and some cosmetic hats that give some additional benefits or can make the game harder. But for my time playing this game, the hats really didn't make much of a difference. There's one hat that will make it so parts of your centipede you lose won't respawn the next wave, but to be honest, I didn't even know parts of your centipede you lose in the wave would come back for the next one, simply because I never lost any parts of my centipede. I always strategized mixing the lifesteal and healing enhancements enough that I didn't have that problem. I found the game to be pretty easy, even on the harder difficulties, which the naming of those difficulties also confuses me a bit. I assume that NG Plus stands for New Game Plus, but this really isn't New Game Plus. In New Game Plus mode, you normally take your existing build of levels and stats and carry them to a new game from the start, expanding on them even more. But in Centipede Gun, these NG Plus modes just add more waves and you still start with the same single piece, with you building it up from there as a brand new game. And the pieces don't start with expanded levels either. So the whole NG Plus doesn't really make sense to me here, which isn't a big deal, but it's something that confused me. And I actually thought I had done something wrong at first when I started an NG Plus game, and I was just there at the beginning of the wave, starting again from scratch, because I expected it to be New Game Plus. Instead, it just turned out to be what they call the different difficulties for this game, which isn't a bad thing. I just would have preferred that kind of terminology instead of just NG Plus, since it really isn't NG Plus. And really, aside from that, there's not much else to say about this game. It's a short game that is pretty fun. I enjoy these kind of games, and I can get lost in min-maxing the best possible combinations of abilities and enhancements. But for this game, there really wasn't any need to do that. Even on the hardest difficulties, this game is pretty easy, and I got through it pretty quickly. And while it was fun, it still kind of left me wanting more. Overall, I give Centipede Gun a 2 out of 5. It's a fun game with some fun mechanics, and for $5, there's some value out of this if you pick it up to play. Typically with these kind of games, I can get lost in them and play forever. Except with Centipede Gun, the game doesn't have enough challenge to feel fulfilling when you finish it. It has all the pieces to be one of the games in my regular rotation to play, with its roguelike and strategy mechanics. But even on its hardest difficulty, the game is just so easy it kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it. And once you finish it, there's nothing really to push you to play it anymore. I finished this game with all achievements and collecting everything there was in about 3 hours. That's all it took to go through every difficulty setting. And honestly, I feel no urge to come back to this one. That's not to say I didn't have fun playing the game. I did during the beginning, but the low difficulty on this one took a lot of fun out of trying to max out my builds as there was no challenge. And it got to the point that I could start a wave and put down the controller knowing I could still win. which is kind of disappointing on a game like this, where it should always be a hard challenge to get through these levels, where you're kind of just barely hanging on. But sadly, that's just not what I experienced with Centipede Gun. But hey, that's just my thoughts on Centipede Gun. Maybe you played it and had a different experience. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this game. And if you like this review, hit that subscribe button and check out our other reviews by clicking the icons on the screen. If you have suggestions for other games you think we should play, let us know as well. Until next time, this has been Brad with the Bickering Nerds.